Found footage is a cinematic technique in which it's presented as the recording was discovered, such as in first-person perspective or surveillance footage. I like films like this due to its very realistic effects, which creates advanced horror, fear, and interaction. Characteristics of a found footage film include very real, convincing acting. The audience feels like they're watching real-life situations and may possibly relate to the actors and their personalities and choices as they are portrayed as an average, everyday person. This is what makes found footage scarier than other films. It's very humane and real, making the watchers have a connection to the characters and even the situation, making them think something like that could even happen to them. This realism is also portrayed with shaky camera work that looks very natural and raw. 16-year-old Alice drowns while swimming, and her family begins experiencing inexplicable events in their home. The family hires a parapsychologist whose investigation unveils Alice's double life and leads them all to Lake Mungo. This is a 2008 movie that took the form of a mockumentary, meaning it feels like you're watching a real documentary with people's real lives displayed. The horror effect in this film is very unique, and it's not your traditional jump scare, but it has a way to really creep you out, especially as you get further into the movie. Lake Mungo really isn't going to be for everyone, as there isn't much frantic action, but it scares the audience with atmosphere and plot. Four thugs who make money filming their violent exploits online are anonymously hired to steal a VHS tape from a house. However, things take a turn for the worse when they find a dead man and dozens of more tapes. This movie is an anthology of short films that is involved in the frame narrative of the plot. It includes a total of 6 stories called Tape 6, it being the narrative or the main plot, Amateur Night, Second Honeymoon, Tuesday the 17th, The Sick Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Younger, and 10/31/98. I really like the thought of an anthology film, especially with VHS. Even though you might not like every mini plot, the movie as a whole has a really special atmosphere that can get you pretty spooked. Along with their good acting, you kind of forget you're watching a production film. Each plot is even directed by someone different, which is nice to see how well various views go together. Looking for a good fright for Halloween, 5 friends set off on a road trip to discover the scariest haunted house attractions. As their trip seems to have reached a dead end, strange things start to happen, and it becomes clear that the haunt has come to them. This is a really fitting movie to get into the Halloween spirit, and you'll have a lot of fun watching it. It feels like your lonely ass is going on a road trip with friends you wish you had. By the way, can we also mention how fucking terrifying this bitch is? Yeah, be aware of that. The movie also dabbles in how dark these haunted attractions can actually get. How far will a person go to scare someone? Do some people find pleasure in scaring people? What would they do, and when would they stop? Or just maybe they wouldn't stop until you're dead. The crew of a horror web series travels to an abandoned, presumably haunted, asylum for a live broadcast. They soon encounter much more than expected, as it moves deeper inside the nightmarish building. A different approach is used to convey a more modern view by going live on the internet. It also varies from other found footage, as there is a camera for each character and setting, rather than the expected one shaky camera. This one is a bit, or a lot of, a slow burn, but once you get towards the second part of the film, things begin picking up. All in all, it's not my favorite found footage film, but it's definitely an entertaining one. But that's only my opinion, so if you haven't watched it, give it a shot. This mockumentary revolves around the murders of a television crew's members, who went searching for the New Jersey Devil in Pine Barrens, New Jersey. Out of the 4 members, only 1 survived. I watched this really recently, and as I got halfway through the movie, I knew I wasn't going to talk about it in this video. Then I got to the end, and now I have to talk about it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but let me tell you, there's a twist that I was not expecting. It is a slow burn, and I was getting really bored, but I'm glad I watched it through. I'm not gonna lie, the atmosphere does get you pretty creeped out, and the images of the deaths are pretty intense. Plus, the editing really does make it feel like you're watching a real documentary from the 90s. And the fact that the budget of creating this movie was only $900 is crazy. If you're gonna watch this movie, get ready for a crazy ending that makes you realize how much media can manipulate perspective. That's all I'm gonna say. Also, if you're gonna watch this movie, notice how many times they say, you know. It's actually kind of hilarious.